Hey, you're back with BA, and welcome to WD Gann Wheel of Focus. I was going to name this WD Gann High Focus, but I was like, no, this is kind of a wheel because that's what these cycles are that we're going to be taking a look at. So let's get started with that. All of this that you're going to see on your screen is in WD Gann's words. However, all the audio is going to be in BA's words. So just so you know, what you're seeing on your screen is not my writing. It's copied from WD Gann's own typed up editions. Time is the most important factor in determining market movements, and by studying the past records of the averages or individual stocks, you will be able to prove for yourself that history does repeat, and that by knowing the past, you can predict the future. You know, what's so important here, and you have to stop and put this into focus, so to speak, is the applications of WD Gann's real methods go far, far beyond financial markets. You understand? Because that's really important. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there, just give me the money! Just give me the quick money! Well, yeah, guess what? It doesn't work like that. Neither does life. The ancient hunters had a rule that when they were searching to locate an animal in his den, they always followed his tracks backwards, figuring that it was the shortest route to his lair. The quickest way for you to learn how to determine future market movements is to study the past. Okay? And I have free lessons that I give out, and you just go to my website and fill out the contact form, and you get the free lessons. Lesson 1 shows how to follow those tracks back. Okay, that's its importance there. Shows the exact methods that I use to forecast. Okay, so very, very important there. And then, of course, Ecclesiastes 1:9 down here at the bottom of the page. Okay, we're going to start in the basement and work our way out of it. Okay, because a lot of people, a lot of people have the wrong idea as to what these cycles really are. You're going to be shocked, okay? If you follow this, so you'd be like, wow, okay, he's right. Okay, so 1 year cycle, this is a small cycle, but in view of the fact that there is a grain crop harvested in the United States every year, and in fact a spring and winter crop of wheat, important changes in trend occur 1 year from previous tops and bottoms. This may not be a change in the main trend, but a reaction can run 1 to 3 months at the end of a 1 year period. Now, wait a minute, okay? Because I know what you think that the 1 year cycle is, but how in the heck? That's a lot of orb. If you're using a one year cycle and you're using 1 to 3 months orb on that, okay, you're going to catch everything amazingly. You just won't be able to make any money at it, but you'll catch everything. Okay, whenever you start to make up a forecast 1 year or more in advance, always check back and see if the market is running out a major cycle or a minor cycle, especially when the market is nearing extreme high prices or extreme low prices. Study war periods and war cycles against war periods, normal cycles against normal time periods. This is very important. What I'm going to say next. A careful review of all the major and minor cycles when used in connection with the geometrical angles will help you determine which cycle is repeating the closest. Folks, right there. That line right there should clear up so much confusion that's going on out in this field. A careful review of all the major and minor cycles when used in connection with the geometric angles. It's in connection with the geometric angle. You don't throw out the cycles. Okay, and just use the geometry. You have to have the cycle. He's saying it right here. You know, he's not just, I need a longer sentence, so I'll just add the cycles in and my sentence will be long. He's not doing that. Okay? You can't throw out, you got to have the cycles or the angles won't work. Because the angles work in connection with the geometry. All right? The angles work in connection with the geometry. The cycles work in connection with the geometry. That's tripping up so many people out there. All right. And that's a critical point. If you don't have the cycles, you have nothing. You have a car, an automobile sitting in your driveway with no engine. If you have only the geometrical angles, you have a car sitting in your driveway with no engine. And we all know it's going to happen or not happen there. Okay. By keeping up the months where extreme highs and lows in previous cycles were reached, you can rate the months when the market is making extreme lows or highs in the current cycle, which will give you a double check on your forecast. Very important there to understand what he's doing. Okay, but I know some here aren't going to understand this deeper level stuff. 7-year cycle. This is a very important cycle. You could check back 7 years from the top. Also watch 14 years, 21, and 28. And that number 28 is mentioned in Jensen's book. Okay, and other multiples of 7. There's more information here than what most people think. Okay, but let's continue on. Tops and bottoms often come out 7.5 years. Well, wait a minute. If there's a 7-year cycle, how can the tops come out 7.5 years? That's a half a year of orb. Yeah, you see what? I'm going to get to my point. Trust me, stay with this. It's very important. I'm going to make a point. It's very important to watch 90 months from minor as well as a major top or bottom. Okay, 7-year, which should be a 5-year cycle. Those are Gann's typos, and he does those purposely. This period of 60 months is important, meaning the 5-year cycle. Important because it's 1/4 of the 20-year cycle and 1/2 of the 10-year cycle and 1/6 of the circle of 360 or the 30-year time period. Okay, the 3-year cycle. Culminations of major and minor moves often occur in the 34th to 36th month for major and minor. Okay, always watch 3 years from any important top or bottom as a change in trend is likely to occur. Okay? 10-year cycle. Wheat varies slightly at times from the 10-year cycle, and tops come out between 10 years and 6 months and 11 years. What? So the 10-year cycle is actually 11 years? What is it? This is due to the position of some previous tops or bottoms. He doesn't say this is due to the position of moving bodies. He says of tops and bottoms as time and angles will show. See, there again, you combine the cycles with the angles. Okay. Now I know what you're thinking this 10-year cycle is. We're gonna hold on. But the main cause is there are 2 crops of wheat. Okay. Note on, and then he gives some dates here. 10-year cycle for wheat. Next, top prices. The lighter corner occurred in May. According to 10-year, another top would come out in May of 1908. The high of 19 was reached in May. 20-year cycles. But note that last extreme high for 50 years occurred, and therefore extreme high. Okay. I'm going to interject something here, and this wasn't really going to be a part of this, but I need to. It's harder for me to forecast the smaller cycle, 4 to 6 turns a month. That's harder and more involved than it is for me to forecast huge moves of, like, say, I don't know, a month to 3 months. It's harder to do the smaller one for me. It's easier to do the large ones, because I'm only doing the small ones. And there's reasons for that. And those are actually harder to do. They're more time consuming. They're more involved. It's actually easier to catch the big cycles. 45-year cycle. The digits 1 and 9, when added up, total 45. That means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 6 equals 45. 45 is the most important angle, and it definitely is. Therefore, 45 years in time is a very important cycle. 1/2 of 45 is 22.5 years. I know what you think the 45-year cycle is, some of you. Hold on. 30-year cycle. Okay, 30-year cycle. I know what you think that is. Okay. Compare these years, compare that. 20-year cycle. This is a very important cycle because it's 1/3 of the 60-year cycle. 20 years equals 240 months, which is 2/3 of the circle of 360. This 20-year cycle is Gann's master 20-year cycle. Okay, that's Gann's master cycle. That's what company says this is a very important cycle. It was his master cycle. Okay, it's not what you think it is. Hold on, we'll get there. 49-year cycle. Well, wait a minute, because hold on. If what you thought those other cycles were up until this point, how do you get 49 or 50 years? It's actually 49-year cycle. How do you get the 49? Because there's nothing around that hits that. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people out there are incorrect as to what they think these cycles are. And we'll get to it just a minute. It's coming up. Okay, that's why it's called the Wheel of Focus. Okay, the 49-year ends a major cycle for wheat and extreme high. Listen to what he says down here, very important on the second paragraph. The 49-year cycle is 225 degrees to 240 degrees in the second circle of 360. Okay, the period of 49 years being 588 months. Note that 576 is the end of the fourth square of 12, which is the fatal square or death point, representing the grave, the winter season, the end of life, or anything in the beginning over again. All right. Now, you'll find this cycle also in your life. There'll be a shock in your life during your 49th year. You got to give it a little bit of orb there. Give it a few months either side of 49 years. But it'll come in around your 49th year. There'll be a shock. Those of you that are older than 49, you'll have to look back. Okay. 84-year cycles. And I'm sure most of you out there go, aha, I know what that is. I know what that is. There's only one thing that could be 84 years. Well, guess what? Gann knew you were going to think that. Okay, Gann knew you were going to think that. The cycle of 84 years ain't what you think it is. There's something else going on with this cycle, which is what I told you I would get to, and what most people think is going on with these cycles out there. Okay? Because if you take this, here's a good example of this. If you take this 1933, okay, 1933 here, and you subtract 1852, go 1933 minus 1852, that's only 81 years, okay? That's only 81 years, okay? 1929 minus 1845 is your 84, okay? So what these cycles are is not what you think they are. And the low prices was in 1932, not 1933. What these cycles are not what you think they are. Okay, there's something else going on. Well, where do you go to learn the cycles? Okay. Well, that's part of that is I've got free lessons that I put out on this. I'm putting out for people while my time lasts. And Gann's book, Tunnel Through the Air. Okay, Gann's book, The Tunnel Through the Air, which I have free on my site. Okay, or you can buy from someone. I don't sell it. That's why, and I keep talking about what a great book it is. I don't want people to think I'm trying to sell it, which is not. It's absolutely free on my site. Okay, these cycles aren't what people think they are. Okay. Subscribe so you can get the latest of my free market calls, updates, and teachings. Knowledge is priceless. Hey, this is BA reminding you, you can succeed. Take care. Bye-bye.